And good evening on this Tuesday night. So welcome to our second show of Iowa Conference play this evening, as we're going to talk about a big win for the Spartans last Saturday over Central College, 23-21, and preview the homecoming matchup right here at Chalmers Field, as the Spartans will be taking on the Luther College Norse for homecoming. And we're certainly hoping that the weather for homecoming will be like it is outside today. Just a beautiful day here in the Tri-States, beautiful October afternoon. And I know the players and coaches appreciated the nice weather for practice that just finished up here on the UD campus. Head coach Stan Zweifel will be talking with us through the program here. We're also going to meet a couple of the senior players on the Spartan team this season. Ryan Arnold, defensive tackle for UD, going to join us, and also running back Kyle Acker. We're going to have him on the program as well to talk about their seasons and their careers as part of our UD football show with Stan Zweifel. And this is the UD Football Show with head football coach Stan Zweifel joining us following the Spartans practice. And Stan, thanks for coming up and talking with us again here this evening.
Always great to visit with you, Tim, get a chance to talk to the Spartan fans.
Holding Central to 56 yards of rushing. We talked about they wanted to be the team that would probably attack with the run, and they weren't successful on the ground, had to go to the air. They did have a little success there, but it was a very good defensive battle, but you really took away their run game.
Yeah, you know, with the Osborne kid the week before against Albion had 192 yards rushing. We had talked about them rushing for about 230, and I thought we had to hold them under 150 to have a chance to win the game, and boy, we did a good job doing that. We held them under 60 yards, but I think, again, as I'll say to you, we had a great plan, but the plan is only as good as your players let you execute that plan, but we were able to really, really match their intensity, and I thought throughout the course of the game, we had a number of opportunities to miss field goal. And I thought we had a chance to score a couple more points. And then they had a couple drops, Tim. But I'm going to tell you now, when you get hit, and we were hitting very, very hard, receivers and running backs, the starch really goes out of the offensive players pretty fast. I think that had a lot to do with it. And, boy, did we do a great job. We had a defensive player of the week in the conference, Blaine Snichter, who got an interception return for a touchdown. Our special team kicker, Curtis Prawl, was the special team player of the week. But we could have named 11 guys on our defense because those 11 guys really played hard.
Mm-hmm. You started out, I know you wanted to have a great drive to open up the ball game and end up in points. Didn't end up in a touchdown, but you did score first. And that certainly was a big change for you over the last couple of games. And so you wanted to set the tone early.
You know, at a point we had started badly with field position, and we had talked about that. But we had a nice drive, 11-play drive that ended up being in a field goal. And I thought we had a chance to score a touchdown, Tim. We had a couple offensive line breakdowns in our blocking scheme. But I would say this to you, it allowed us then to get ahead of the game, and then I think that helped us also. But I really got to take my hats off to Coach Smith and our defensive staff and our players. They really held us in there a couple times when I thought, things could really start slipping the other way. The defense just continued to play their fannies off and gave us a chance to win.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. Certainly was a great defensive effort, as we alluded to. Your team created 3 turnovers, turned 2 of those turnovers into touchdowns eventually. Central didn't turn you over, and that was one of the big keys in the game.
Always is. I think, Tim, when you talk about two teams that are very, very close in their ability and close in their talent, usually some type of mistakes ends up making the difference. And we really worked hard to make those mistakes. Blaine Snichter dropped back in a zone, a kind of a zone blitz that we had on, was able to get underneath one of the receivers. Quarterback didn't see him. And we were really able in the third and fourth quarter, especially the fourth when they had the win, to time our blitzes, and our coaching staff and our players did a great job of timing our blitzes and our line movements. And near the end of the game, even though they're only down by, I think it was 9 points, that quarterback was getting hit about every time he threw. And that really, I think, took a toll on him. On that last drive, while they were able to score and make it 23-21, man, he had got hit a lot of times, and that was really a great effort by our team. And, of course, they get kicking onside, and we recover that. And we practice both aspects of that every week. And, of course, at point, as I told you last week, God dang it all, I thought we had that one, and we weren't able to come up with it. But again, it came down to that. We were able to take care of that. But I would say to you again, we were able to play hard the entire game, and I think that's the first time this year we probably played hard from the opening whistle to the end of the game, every one of our players.
This is the UD Football Show with head coach Stan Zweifel here on this Tuesday night as the Spartans get ready for their next game. We'll talk about that here in a little bit as they prepare for their homecoming matchup. But continuing on to talk about the big win on the offensive side of the ball. Offensive line played pretty well. You needed to bottle up their two defensive ends,
right.
and Sampson didn't really factor in bothering your quarterback at all.
Not as much as he could have. I will say this: 15 and 5 were really good football players. 5 was better than I thought he was. I saw him in person, of course. Tim and I watched him on tape, and they both played really, really well. But we were able to run the ball effectively enough. Kyle Acker went over 100 yards. We hadn't done that the last 2 weeks, Tim. If we can continue to get that going a little bit. And I think Brian Bradshaw would be the first guy to tell you he had his worst game here as a Spartan for us. I thought he missed a lot of open people. But I also think he was under duress a little bit, and we're really working very hard to get that corrected. And I'm expecting a big game out of him on Saturday. I really am, Tim. I'm expecting a big offensive output from our folks on Saturday. And again, our defense, we just finished up practice. We always finish up practice on Tuesday with good versus good, 16 plays in the red zone. And our defense was flying around the football field today. And is that exciting to see? That's just really good stuff. So we can continue in those veins on both sides of the ball, stop and run on defense, get a little bit better and run the ball on offense, and then, be a little bit more productive in the pass game. We're going to be a very difficult team to beat.
You touched on it. The ground attack was really key. With the pass game struggling, you couldn't go as deep as you wanted to. But, as you mentioned, Kyle, we thought ran the hardest he has all season.
Without
really
a doubt. Tim,
hard.
It's so interesting because we went back and looked at the last 3 years against Central. He's had his best games against Central. Last year down there, he went 135 yards. And if you remember his sophomore year, he came in the second half and rushed for 116 yards when Justin Spalding didn't play in the second half. And so he's really brought his best game against Central. And that is a rivalry, I've told you before, Tim, God dang it all. We want to have a rivalry with Wartburg, Coe, and Central. That's who we want to have a rivalry of. In the last 4 years now, we're 2-2 with Central. And since 1987, prior to that, they had never beat Central. So we're really excited about where we're moving to and where we're going. And, of course, Luther brings in a new coaching staff, and they are running the wishbone. It'll be a really interesting game because they really want to run the ball, maintain possession. They're leading the conference in time of possession by some ridiculous, I think 37 minutes to 23, I think, Tim, is what it is. So they've held on to the football. They've done a great job of creating a physical aspect of their football team. So it'll be interesting for us if we can continue to have that good run defense.
Well, in this game this past Saturday, winning over Central, you've won 2 out of the last 3 from Central. How big is that for your program to be able to win over a team that's won 30 Iowa Conference championships?
Tim, I can't even tell you how important that is to them. We got aboard here, Tim, that first year, and I said we were going to win the conference in 4 years. And a lot of guys thought I was probably crazy, and a lot of people still think I am. And I wouldn't disagree with a lot of them, but I would tell you what you got to do is you got to put the bar high and you got to set your expectation level high. And surely, as I said all along, there's no reason we can't. We've got great facilities. We've got a president and a board of trustees president that wants to see our football teams be successful. Our school is on the rise. We've got wonderful, wonderful people to work with, and we're in a really tough conference. And I told you when we started those 3 non-conference games, that was part of our plan. So, that was you can't ever measure beating Central, how important it is. Not many folks have beat them in our conference over the last 10 years. And like you said, we've won 2 out of the last 3 years, which is a wonderful compliment to our players.
This is the UD Football Show with head football coach Stan Zweifel on this Tuesday night. We're going to talk more with Coach Zweifel. We'll preview Saturday's matchup and have more when we return right after this on 101.1 The River. 6:11 on this Tuesday night, and we're back here with Chalmers Field in the background, and the practice over with, and a few more days before the Luther Norse come here to play at Chalmers Field. Second game of the Iowa Conference schedule. The Spartans 2-2, 1-0 in Iowa Conference play. Luther 2-2 and 1-0 in Iowa Conference play. Coach, before we get into the Luther contest, another great honor for one of your players, third straight year in a row. Tyson Carter has been selected one of the best and brightest on the college gridiron, the National Football Foundation. announcing he's one of the 170 candidates for the Campbell Trophy, the National Scholar Athlete Award. Of course, your son Michael Zweifel was the first. Wyatt Hannes had a chance to be up for that award, and now you add to that Tyson Carter. You must be extremely pleased and proud of that.
I can't tell you how excited that thing is more than anything else. Competing on a national level with Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA 1 and 2. Over 580 schools playing college football. I don't know what the number of athletes are, but in the last 3 years, we've become the first team in the history of NCAA Division III football to have 3 players selected for get to the semifinalists. And of course, 3 years ago we had a finalist, and last year Wyatt was one person out of the finalist, and this year Tyson is involved. And it's really what we've said about when we came here. We'd really like to not only be good on the football field, we'd really like to be good in the classroom. We'd like to be good socially and in our in our community. So I think we're making some headway there, Tim. I really do.
No doubt about that. And Tyson's major, he's got like a 3.94 average, and I was looking at the work that he's doing. I couldn't pronounce some of the names, and I couldn't even...
He gave me a paper he's working on this summer. After the first word, it was the. After that, I couldn't read any of the words. I've seen them in dictionaries before. I just couldn't pronounce them.
Yeah, amazing young man. We talked with him last year on the show, and he's been amazing on the football field, too.
What a great
over
long
200
snapper.
snaps without a mistake. We were hoping we didn't jinx him on the broadcast because we kept bringing that up, but we couldn't even jinx him. So.
And he's from Canada, too, so I guess Canadians produce some good scholar athletes also. So
they're not all suffering concussions for playing hockey up there. Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Luther College Norse. They're coming into your place here on the heels of an Iowa Conference opening win, 41-7. And as you mentioned, they want to run the ball right down your throat. Pretty clear and simple.
They are going to be a pretty straightforward team. They run a triple option. We haven't seen a triple option here for, I think, about once since I've been here. And they are truly reading it. And what that is, they have an opportunity to give it to the fullback inside, quarterback carry it outside, or pitch the ball on the edge. And you have to be very sound in fundamentals in your scheme defensively, because if you make a mistake, one guy could be running down the field untouched. They are very physical. They've changed so much from a year ago. And, of course, we do have some kind of idea about their personnel because Coach Durnan's with us. But they are an extremely different team, and they're trying to really establish something that I think just to be sound physically and really tough, I really think that's part of their mentality. What they've done, as I mentioned to you, Tim, God, they hold on to the ball forever. And we've been starting on Sunday stressing our kids about we got to get them off the field on third down. Then our possessions are so critical that you don't get many. Last week we had 16 possessions against Central. This week, if we get 10, I'll be excited because the game is so short, Tim. So we really want to make sure we take extreme ability to have our opportunities when we got the ball, scoring points, and then we got to get them off the field. We got to stop them on third down. I think the key to that is limiting their first down effectiveness on offense so they're not in second and medium and third and short, because then they're really tough to stop. It'll be a really interesting game. I got to mention this to you, Tim. When you see their punt team for the first time, and I hope you see it often, but when you see their punt team, they have 2 punters back there. One's a right-footed punter and one's a left-footed punter.
You don't know which one they're snapping it to.
It's the most amazing thing I've seen in my career in coaching football. And I said, what is that? And so they either kick it with the right-footed punter or the left-footed punter. It's going to be really interesting. So the fans, they ought to come and just see that. It might be the only time they'll see it in their lifetime.
Yeah.
But it's really, really interesting. But it's part of their game. They don't kick it very far. They just try to make you not get a return and not be able to block a punt. So it's really interesting. They're first place in the conference. I told our guys it's another game for first place. I told them this week after last week we'd either be in first or last. And this week we've got a chance to be in first place after Saturday.
When you're defending that triple option, what are going to be the keys to limit it, to shut it down so you get the ball?
I think there are 3 things, and Ryan will mention one of these things to you. They cut block all the time. We don't see a lot of cut blocking in our league. Cut block is they throw at the defensive lineman's legs. Very, very difficult technique to get used to during practice because we don't cut. So number one is our defensive linemen got to stay in their feet. And I think the most important thing, Tim, is they're going to either give it to the fullback, the quarterback's going to either carry it, or they're going to pitch it to a running back. Now, you've got to have all 3 of those phases covered every single time. And so they'll have a variety of blocking schemes that they'll try to see how you're playing the fullback and try to block who's blocking the fullback, how you're playing the quarterback. They'll try to block who's blocking the quarterback or the pitch. So they got answers. So you got to be sound every single time, get off blocks, and get to your assignments. And it's always that's very critical in defending the option. And the option always depends on you making a mistake. Somebody gets over anxious and tackles the dive when they've got the quarterback and the quarterback keeps the ball, or somebody comes out and takes the quarterback that was supposed to have the pitch. So how we practice against them, Tim, is nobody gets a ball when we practice against their offense. So we have to get everybody to each person that's responsible that could have the ball, and it allows us to be able to check the schemes that we're using. So it's going to be an exciting game, Tim. It really is going to be two really contrasting teams, one that wants to maintain ball possession, run it every down. I think they've thrown like 28, 29 passes. That's like a quarter for us most of the time, Tim. So, there's going to be some contrasting there. And then I think also they want to be physical and wear you down. And I think we're a very physical football team ourselves.
Mm-hmm. In the Iowa Conference Saturday, other than the Luther-Loris game, a couple other pretty tight contests. Had to come up with two scores late against Buena Vista, and then Wartburg-Simpson, they played right through the middle of the third quarter with Wartburg winning. So I guess no surprises there.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because I still think one loss could win the championship. I think a real key game coming up, Tim, which I'm interested to see the results, is Simpson and Central, because one of those two teams will have two losses after two games, and that's really difficult to rebound from, so that'll be interesting for us. But we really want to get it ourselves to get some momentum going, and we're going to play a really good Luther team, much improved. I'm really impressed with that offense, Tim. Usually when you start out, there are a lot of turnovers. They turn the ball over a lot, but this offense, they've done a great job of not turning the ball over, and that really plays into what they want to try to do too. Not turn the ball over, kick the ball, make you drive the long field, get the ball back and not give it to you. So it'll be a contrasting wills there, and it's going to be interesting to see who wins that.
On the defensive side of the ball, talk about them there.
They're really a very base. They're a 4-2 alignment. We haven't seen a lot of that. We've seen a lot of 4-3 and Okie in the last 4 games. This is an alignment that we think will know where they're at. God, they play hard. They play really, really hard. They remind me of Central in that defense, how they run to the football and play hard. There'll be some good matchups that we can get in our throw game, but, we've got to take advantage of those. And last week we didn't, for whatever variety of reasons that was. But we're excited about our matchups, and I can't wait to play another game because I really think our men are starting to get going, and we're getting some momentum. Started with both our sides of the football, offensive, defense, and our special teams. Curtis Prohl, who was the special team player of the week in the conference. And I should mention, as we talked, Blaine Snichter got the defensive player of the week. So I think if we can get that thing rolling a little bit, it'll be a good game for us.
Yep, homecoming as well. So a lot of folks coming out to support the Spartans. A good crowd this past Saturday against Central, helping you come up with that victory. Before we let you go, you got a couple of young men you're going to have over here next, Ryan Arnold and Kyle Acker. We talked about them a little bit, but tell us about those guys.
They've been with us for 4 years. Both are seniors. We recruited Kyle Acker out of, I think, the best high school football program in the state of Wisconsin, Waunakee, Wisconsin. I don't know how many state championship games Kyle played in. You'll have to ask him. He played in a number of them. Fantastic running back. And then Ryan Arnold's been one of our mainstays in our defensive line. He's from Kenosha. It's down there by the southern part of Wisconsin down there, and he'll tell you a little bit about himself. But both those guys have been tremendous players for us and been with us for 4 years. And both of them have done very, very well for us in their careers, and they're going to have the rest of their season is going to be outstanding.
Well, we're anxious to meet them. We'll have them over here in just a moment. Coach, we'll let you go. Thanks for talking with us.
Thanks,
good luck
Tim.
against Luther here this Saturday. We'll visit with you Saturday.
Love to see a ton of folks here for the great game, and it's going to be wonderful weather, and it'll be a matchup. It'll be fun to watch those guys play because you don't get a chance to see an offense like that very often.
Plus the 2 punters. That's worth the price of admission
exactly,
right there.
Exactly, it is.
All right, Coach. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
and again, we'll let you go. Coach Stan Zweifel joining us on the UD Football Show. And we're going to come back and we're going to meet our athletes that are going to be coming over. Ryan Arnold and Kyle Acker will join us here in just a moment. This is the UD Football Show with Stan Zweifel. Back after this on 101.1 The River. Hey, we're back on 101.1 The River, and we've got our first football player going to join us of the evening, senior Kyle Acker, running back for the Spartans. Kyle, thanks for joining us here.
Hey, thank you. It feels great to be here.
Well, great game on Saturday. You went over the 100-yard mark. Your offensive line did a great job. Talk about the offense's performance in your eyes.
You know what? I think we did a great job. I mean, every game, there's things that you got to go out and you see on film that you need to fix. But you know what? We came out and we won. We had a great game. The offensive line played great, ran right behind them. And I can't wait to get out there this week.
Not only was it a big win for you because it was the Iowa Conference opener, but you had a couple of tough losses. How big was it to pick up this win? Could you tell in practice this week that the guys had a little bit more zip in their step, that kind of thing?
It was really good to pick up this win this week, especially going into our conference play with this momentum on our back. I mean, it's going to do unbelievable things for us. And, yeah, we had a couple losses in the beginning of the season, and that's why this win is really going to pick us up and take us forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, the ground attack was so important. Talk about how important it was in the win. I'm sure Coach Zweifel stressed it that you weren't really getting a lot going with the pass game, with the deep pass game. So the rushing attack opened it up. And did you feel like you had to step up your game a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime, whether it's a run or the pass, if one or the other can't get going, the other players, they got to step up and really get the other guy going.
How much confidence do you have in your offensive line? Talk about them.
I have plenty of confidence in them. And you know what? We're getting better every game, and we're going to go out and we're going to compete with the best of them.
Coach said he came from Waunakee, Wisconsin. Yep. Great football tradition there. He said you played in a couple of state championship games at least, or what? Yeah. What's the story there?
I played in one state championship game. We won that. I mean, that was a huge win for my senior year, going out like that. I mean, it was unbelievable. I couldn't have asked for more. And, I'll always remember all those guys because that was just such a fantastic time.
Well, your time has gone by. I'm sure you feel like quickly here at the University of Dubuque. Hard to believe that you're a senior. Talk about your reflections as a senior. I'm sure the Iowa Conference Championship is first and foremost.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's one of our main goals. But I mean, sitting here as a senior, it's ridiculous. I know everybody says it goes by in a blink of an eye. Sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true.
No doubt about that. So, I mean, that gives you guys extra incentive, yourself and Ryan. And, have you guys sort of talked about that with some of the younger players that come in and think they got plenty of time, but, it just goes by so quick?
Absolutely I have because, I mean, I had Justin Spalding tell me that when I was a freshman. And, you really hear them, but you don't really understand it until you've lived through it, and you definitely want to relay that back to the younger guys to make the most out of it.
How fun is it playing with Coach Zweifel's offense under his guidance?
Man, it's awesome. It's high-powered. He's always bringing the energy. He's always getting it on the field. I'm sure you see him out there on the sideline getting after people. It's a great time.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Kyle, anything you want to add about your UD career here or anything about Luther coming up on Saturday?
Luther, they're a good team. I mean, just touch on what Z said, true triple option. That means they're going to possess the ball more than the average team, but that's the biggest thing we got to do. We got to go out there and minimize the amount of time they possess it. And, it's just another week for us. It's another game. We got to go out there and compete, and things will fall in line for us.
All right, that's Kyle Acker, and I'm going to have teammate Ryan Arnold come on over. Ryan, come on over, and we'll give the headsets to him. Thanks a lot, Kyle, for coming by. And we'll let the big man come over here and go ahead and come on over, Ryan, and we'll introduce you to the fans here in Spartan Nation. Slap those headsets on and pull up a chair. Thanks again, Kyle. Well, Ryan, your defensive effort, wow, you guys played lights out, especially the defensive line play. If Coach Zweifel would have told you you're going to hold him to under 60 yards rushing, he was happy with 100. What an effort.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know, it's just us playing ball. We know, Central's a tough team. We had to bring it out. We had to go out there and compete with them and just try to get our offensive ball.
You got a new defensive line coach this year, and Coach Durnan helping out on the defensive line. What has he brought to this program that really has inspired you or helped you out a little bit in your game for your senior season?
Oh, man, Coach Durnan, I love him. Like, he's an amazing coach. He knows what he's doing. We trust his process. We just, just go out there, he gets us right, and just have us go out there and play.
Talk about your career a little bit here at UD, coming to campus. You won an Iowa Conference Championship here. That's got to be first and foremost in your mind. And just talk about some of your highlights, what you've enjoyed about playing here.
Yeah, playing here, it's awesome. Like, I love the environment, I love the people here. Coach G and his coaching staff welcome us to open arms, and they just try to put us in the best position to win. Win our championship. It was really big for us. It was a major step towards this program, and we can only just keep building. And as a senior, just want to leave my legacy, go out as a champion, and that's it.
Want to go back to the Central game. Big win for you guys, obviously. And the defense, the linebacker core played great, but defensive line, you have to have confidence in those linebackers. And just talk about your linebackers there.
Linebackers, I love my linebackers. I trust them all the way. It starts with us. It starts with the defense. If something goes wrong, we got to respond. And, I trust them to make the right call, get lined up, and go play football.
You're a senior on that defensive line, and you've got some underclassmen there. Have you really felt maybe the pressure to be more of a leader this year, or just talk about your role with the team?
My role as a team, being a team captain, being accountable for everything, make sure everything goes right, make sure people are in the right place where they're supposed to be. That's just, the coach trusted me, to be one of the players to lead the team and just take on that role of, try to set the example for other guys and just, I don't know, it's fun. It's fun being a leader. You can be vocal, but at the same time, you got to let your actions do the talking.
2.5 tackles for loss this year, 1 quarterback sack, 12 total tackles overall. So you're off to a great start on that defensive line. But I know you guys have bigger and better plans for the rest of the season. Talk about the team's goals and your thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started. We those first couple games we played, just Coach Z believed we could compete with the best, and that's what we're here to do: compete with anybody and everybody anywhere. And can't complain whatsoever. It's we want to be at the top, want to compete at the top, and that's the goal. Just get a conference championship, and here we go, Salem.
Can you believe you're a senior? I mean, man, it's had to go by so fast. Like I talked with Kyle about.
Yeah, it's been a long road for me. I just came a long way and prepared for a championship season. It's gonna suck when it's time to hang it up, but. Never know. Just got to play my last game like it's my last.
Yeah, Ryan, we appreciate you coming in to talk with us, and best of luck on the field this Saturday, the rest of the season. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that's Ryan Arnold. We had Kyle Acker a little bit earlier. We're going to come back with some final words on our UD football show with Stan Zweifel back after this on 101.1 The River. Thanks to Coach Stan Zweifel and also defensive tackle Ryan Arnold and running back Kyle Acker for stopping by on our UD football show for Stan Zweifel. We'll be back next week at 6 o'clock with another show. I invite you to tune in this Saturday for our football broadcast on 101.1 The River and also streaming it live on dbq.edu. Be on the air at 1:40. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff for homecoming, 1:40 with the pregame here on the radio and also streaming on 101.1 The River. So thanks for tuning in. This has been the UD Football Show with Stan Zweifel. Have a great Tuesday evening.